in Schubert, and I'm performing on the third day of the festival, September 4th. What you will see on my program will be a lot of me as a performer and composer. I will also be performing works by Hayes Biggs, Harold Meltzer, and Tom Lehrer. I am opening the concert basically as like an operatic telephone operator. That's Hayes Biggs' piece. I've been thinking a lot about what it means to come back to this festival and how that affects the choices I make with the programming, being that last year I sort of apologetically put a couple of my own numbers in there in amidst, other works, and this time it's going to be a little more substantially my stuff. At the moment it's a little nerve-wracking, but for myself, yes, I'm a vocalist primarily, and that's usually what I'm hired to do. In terms of having all the skills that I believe are necessary for me to be, a full-fledged musician, and that means being able to improvise, being able to write music, original music, and not just be able to sensitively interpret music other people have written. I guess that is sort of what I have chosen to put on display in this programming. The bigger piece that I'm writing is definitely going to put a lot of other extended techniques and whatnot, everything just in one shot, because I can, and because it's worth finding out, what direction that can take me as far as a singer myself. Obviously there's been a long line of many singers that have done this. Joan LaBarbera is, of course, like one of the first people that comes to mind, and Meredith Monk. In terms of using my instrument and using technology, it's gonna be a lot of layering of just me in some cases. I know that that's how Meredith Monk had explored her early ensemble work. She, had her 4-track and she was just layering on, and that was like a huge tool involved in her experiments. I've been thinking a lot about what is really driving my inspiration and my choice to continue to be in this community and field. And I realized that something I didn't talk so much about in the last interview was the two very important people in my life that I've basically been working with very closely since 2009. You'll see why I'm bringing this up in a minute when I get back to like programming choices and what shows up and why. The first one being Gershon Kingsley, who is a composer, conductor, pianist. He was a Moog synthesizer pioneer. He continues to use, the latest technology. He's been using a lot of the virtual synthesizers that they have. Being involved as an assistant, I'm digging through all the sorts of jobs and stuff that he had to do in order to make ends meet, starting from the beginning when he was playing for dance classes, and then writing for dancers and writing some Jewish hymns for a synagogue, and he ended up being known as being a Jewish composer. He was doing the summer stock thing and then got involved in commercial music. I just look at the evolution of this artist that didn't shy away from all different kinds of styles. He was responsible for bringing Josephine Baker back to the States to perform at Carnegie Hall. This winding path, it highlights all the possibilities that can be explored and have had to be explored as the industry was changing. As much as I have tried to learn from people that have already made their mark as musicians, there are certain parts of the landscape they have not dealt with and may not have to. Back to Gershon, who is going to be turning 92 in October, continues to write music and experiment. He's just been a huge inspiration in all the directions that he's gone. With Rhoda Levine, she's someone that definitely brought her political position into a lot of what she had done. She was definitely an activist in her art as well as outside of it. That's something that I've been trying to find a way to incorporate in what I'm doing. I'm not just satisfied in being able to show a certain amount of virtuosity or skills or sensitivity to the sounds and music themselves. I mean, I wasn't going to keep it a surprise, but one of the people that I'm going to be featuring in this program is Tom Lehrer, who was famous for a few records that he put out, and he's famous for his satire. He didn't want the fame and the attention that brought, so he sort of let that be what it was and went out to teach in California, both math, which was what he was actually studying at Harvard, and then also music. My search right now is dealing with how my identity evolves the more I sort of start to grasp about the world I live in versus the world that, I mean, a lot of these heroes of the past have navigated. I'm involved in a number of industries of music, but I guess what brings me back to new music as a community is that this is supposed to be the safe place for not necessarily bringing something brand new, but attempting certain risks that can either be very personal and insular or have to do with breaking very old rules. The other thoughts I've had to have about programming had to do with, well, why is it important that this be seen live? I have to think about the space and the people in it and why that experience is so much more rich when you are present in that room versus seeing it on some YouTube video later. There's a point where you have to leave that safety net. I'm not interested in being apolitical as a musician. I'm not interested in being a part of someone else's experiment. I want to be sure that I am very conscious of what I'm involved in and what it means to the broader community. What is this a vehicle for? Is it only for some sort of intellectual exercise? Are we interested in what's going on outside of this bubble?